You sit down to do one simple thing: answer an email, check in with someone, or just breathe. And instantly, your mind is already somewhere else, replaying something that hurt you, rehearsing something that hasn't happened yet, anywhere but here and now. You call it ADHD, but here's the psychological truth: your brain isn't broken. It just never learned that right now is safe. And that's where the healing actually begins, not in the past, not in the future, right now. Let me tell you what's actually happening inside your body. Your nervous system has one primary job: not thinking, not planning, not performing. Regulation, returning to a state of safety after stress. When your nervous system is regulated, you can focus, you can feel, you can be present in a conversation without your mind disappearing into another dimension. But when it's stuck, when it's running a low-grade threat response around the clock, your brain can't access the part of you responsible for attention, decision-making, and calm. That goes offline. And what takes over is pure survival: fight, flight, freeze, fawn. From the outside, that looks like distraction, impulsivity, emotional dysregulation, inability to finish a thought. This is not a chemical imbalance you're born with. This is a nervous system that never learned or experienced deep connection and safety from a caregiver. And sometimes that keeps us from deeply living our lives. It keeps us surface level when we know, somewhere beneath the noise, that true depth and beauty can be cultivated from a deeper focus, a deeper dive into ourselves and into the lives we were meant to live. That is not a small thing to lose, and it is not something you should have to accept. The pattern didn't begin last year. It didn't begin in your last toxic relationship either. It began when you were a child, too small to understand what was happening, but old enough to feel it. Children are exquisitely sensitive. They absorb everything: the tension behind a smile, the silence in a room that should have been warm, the emotional absence of a caregiver who is physically present but completely unavailable. I know this because I lived it. I spent years inside a controlled environment under a charismatic cult leader in a state of constant hypervigilance, always scanning, always bracing, never fully landing anywhere. Here is the psychological truth about what happens to a child in that kind of environment. The mind does the most intelligent thing it can. It escapes. It time travels, forward into worry, backward into old pain, anywhere but right here, right now, which feels too dangerous to inhabit. That child was not broken. That child was surviving, and you are still running that program. That same mechanism drives addiction. When the present moment feels intolerable, when right now carries too much silence, too much unprocessed pain, the dysregulated nervous system reaches for relief. Sometimes that's a screen, a substance, an unhealthy relationship, constant movement, never stopping long enough to feel. That is not moral failure. This is a body seeking the one thing it never learned to generate on its own: safety. The question is never why you keep escaping. The question is, what does your nervous system need in order to finally feel safe enough to stay? The first step toward regulation, the most underrated step in all of healing, is not action. It is awareness. The next time your mind escapes, catch it. Not with criticism, not with "why am I doing this again?" with curiosity, like a scientist observing a pattern, not a judge issuing a verdict. Because the survival program you've been running since childhood cannot survive being seen. Awareness is the light that makes the invisible visible. This is where regulation actually begins, not in some future version of yourself who has everything figured out. In this moment, right now, with exactly what is happening inside you. Presence is how you begin to regulate, not a productivity system, not another strategy designed for a nervous system that isn't yours. Presence, the deliberate act of returning from the spiral, from the time travel, back to your body, back to now. I remember the first time I actually practiced this, not as a concept, but as a physical act. I was mid-spiral, chest tight, mind completely gone, and I stopped. and I breathed. I want you to do it with me now. Breathe in slowly and say to yourself, I'm here now. Feel that? Your body just received a signal it may not have received in a very long time, that right now, in this moment, you are safe. That is what nervous system regulation feels like. One breath, one return, simple awareness, again and again. This is exactly why I created a guided presence meditation built specifically for people like you to help you reconnect back into your body, one breath at a time. Click the link in the description to join our community and get access to that meditation and more healing resources. Now, take it one step further. The next time you feel the spiral starting, or when you have a moment to yourself, before you reach for the escape, find a mirror. Look at yourself, not to judge what you see, not to evaluate or perform, just to witness and say out loud if you can, I accept myself right now. Not the healed version of yourself, not the person you think you're supposed to be, this version of you right now. This is not an affirmation for the sake of positivity. This is a biological act. When you look into your own eyes and choose acceptance over judgment, you activate the part of your nervous system responsible for safety and connection. You become, in that moment, the regulated presence your body has always needed. Give yourself the grace you were never given. Healing is not linear. There will be setbacks. Some days the spiral wins. That is not failure. That is the non-linear reality of rewiring a nervous system that spent years in survival. Keep going, soldier. When the intrusive thoughts come, and they will, respond with a positive orientation, not toxic positivity, not pretending the pain isn't real, a deliberate choice to move toward healing rather than against yourself. Instead of, why can't I stop thinking about this? Try, I see you. I know you're scared. You're safe now. You are not fighting your mind. You are parenting it, offering it the one thing it never received, the felt sense that it is safe to be here, safe to take up space. That shift from judgment to compassion is not weakness. It is the most precise tool of regulation available to you. Here is the psychological truth most people never reach. Your ADHD is not a life sentence. It is a signal from a nervous system that never learned it was safe to come home. When you learn to be present, one breath at a time, one mere moment at a time, you are not just managing symptoms. You are completing something left unfinished in your childhood. You are teaching your body what it should have learned long ago, that right now is enough, that you are enough, not in the future, not when things calm down, not after you've fixed everything, right now. Subscribe for more psychological truths. The guided presence meditation is in the description. Your nervous system is ready. See you in the next one.